had this guy in my DMs for weeks, writing me, never wrote back. So one day he wrote me, he was like, what shoe size you wear? So I'm not gonna lie, that got my attention. Bitch, what you mean what shoe size I wear? What you got for me?
She had her brother talking to himself in her DMs. I mean, she was ignoring the brakes off of him. But he came up with a plan one day. The smooth brother said, hey, baby, what size shoe you wear? And like a moth to a flame, she bit.
So have you guys seen Fake Shopping Date Girl? She got set up and sent on a fake shopping date. So here's the story. She was ignoring a guy in her DMs. He was trying to reach out to her, get to know her, and she was ignoring him. So he figures out a way to get her attention, and that way was to ask her shoe size. And her greed and thirst immediately kicked in. So then he said, hey, I want to take you shopping. Well, she didn't believe him, so she called her friend, and they devised a plot. But it never popped off. They never went to the store, right? So weeks later, this guy follows up and says, hey, yo, what's up? Are you going shopping? We gonna do this shopping thing or no? So now she's thinking, well, I can get maybe some free clothes and a meal, and I'm gonna be in public. I can just take my stuff and just run, and I'm not gonna worry about it because I'm trying to get something free because I'm thirsty, all right? So he tells her to go to the mall in a really nice community in New York. I've been there. She goes into Saks Fifth Avenue. She's asking him where he is. And he's telling her, hey, come to the third floor. The third floor is women's clothing. So she's like, yeah, she's rubbing her hands like Birdman. Then he says, where are you at? She was like, I'm where you told me to be. Because she had went downstairs to use the bathroom. She comes back. He was like, nah, I don't see you. Come to men's. I'm at Tom Ford. So she goes to Tom Ford to the men's section, can't find him. And she's standing there looking like a bobo in front of the Tom Ford section. And now she's getting uncomfortable as the people coming up to her sales associate and sales associates and asking her, can they help her? Well, after this man gets this woman running over all of these floors, going here, going there, going here, going there, he finally tells her how much he can't stand thirsty women like her and how she's a horrible person. And she's completely embarrassed. And she makes this video trying to act like she's not embarrassed, when in fact, she is embarrassed. Now, looking at her picture and looking at her, she seems like a nosy person. So she should have smelled that something was up in this situation. It couldn't have smelled right to her. All right? The whole video is in the description if you want to see it.
The fake shopping date girl is so funny to me. Like, the whole story is just hilarious because, first of all, why would you trust a man that's been talking to himself in your DMs for weeks? This man said exactly what he knew would get you to respond, and you fell for the bait. Hello? That man said, I got a trick for your ass. Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
So guys, let's, I think, check out the video. So I found the original video, and I think let's check it out, and then we're gonna comment on it.
Alright, y'all, let me tell y'all a quick story that I've been holding in the vault. Okay, like, let me tell you something about New York men. First of all, this story, it just gave me the ick. Like, men are really, like, they're, like, ill. Literally. Men will really try to humble you because they know that you are a particular woman, or they know you know who you are. Like, they really be trying to, especially these New York men. Let me tell you guys, another time I had, like, a horrible dating experience real quick before I go back to off break. I had this guy in my DMs for weeks, writing me, never wrote back. So one day he wrote me, he was like, what shoe size you wear? So I'm not gonna lie, that got my attention. Bitch, what you mean what shoe size I wear? What you got for me? Yeah. So I wrote him, I was like, this is my shoe size. I was like, what, are you asking me because you bored, or you really trying to buy me something? He like, oh, I'm trying to buy you something. So I'm like, okay. He's like, as a matter of fact, I really want to take you shopping. Like, why not? You're beautiful. Like, so I wrote him back. I was like, you capping. He like, what? He's like, we can go tomorrow. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, okay. Hang up on you. Call my friend. So I called my friend. I was like, yeah, this guy's over here. Like, he want to take me shopping. Like, I was like, I don't know. Like, you know, like, I've never encountered something like this. Like, this is like, I don't know. I feel like it's too good to be true, you know? She's like, all right, boom. So this is what we're going to do. She was like, I'm coming to your neighborhood. She was like, we're going to go into the city together, right? She was like, I'm going to act like a sales associate at the store, or I'm going to act like, you know, it's a coincidence that we both in the same room. So she was like, when he's there with you, after you get a few of your pieces or whatever, you can leave. Like, you know, because we don't know if this man is crazy or not, or whatever. So she's just like, nah, we going there together. I'm like, cool. The day for me to meet with him in the store.
Okay, so let's establish the fact that she didn't like the guy. The guy tried, and he couldn't get her attention. The moment he mentioned shopping, and she came running. That's gold digging. So she's not interested in the guy, but she wants to get money from him. She wants to get resources from him. She wants him to spend the money. Okay, let's go.
He was like, we're going to Soho and Bergdorf, right? So, no, not Bergdorf, Saks. So he's like, oh, we're gonna go to Saks. We're gonna go to Soho. I'm like, okay, cool. So he's like, meet me in Saks. So the day come for us to go out to do the shopping. It don't happen. Something happened on his end. So I'm like, oh, I'm calling his bluff. I'm like, oh, this man is just full of shit at this point. Blah, blah, blah. Nah. 2 weeks go by. He texts me. He's like, yo, when are we doing this? Like, so now I'm like, maybe he's not bullshitting because I never brought it up or anything like that. I literally left it as what it was. Like, oh, you're just full of shit. BSing. So he's like, nah, like, let's go. So I was like, okay, like, I'm free this day, I'm free on Sunday, blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right, cool, bet, let's go. In the morning, text him, good morning. He like, well, I'm getting up right now. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm getting myself ready to, like, go meet you. He's like, bet. So this time, I didn't tell my friend. The reason why I didn't tell my friend was because, like, I just felt like it was too good to be true. And I'm also telling myself, like, Mona, you're in a public place. What's the worst thing that could happen to you? Then you actually do go shopping with this man. And you might go to lunch or whatever and call it a day. I'm like, you'll be good. My friends have my location, whatever. So I go to the city. Keep in mind, I did this early in the morning just so I can go take care of my other errands. I had appointments that day just so, like, I didn't, like, know what the circumstances were going to be with this man. Bitch, did they take a motherfucking turn, for real. So he calls me. He's like, yo, where you at? I was like, I'm 20 minutes out. He like, I bet, cool, I'm about to leave. I'm like, okay. But from my end, I can hear cars. I think he was driving. I hear cars. I pay attention to stuff like that, right? So I get there. He told me his ETA. So I wrote him. I was like, hey, I'm here. He goes, I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm like, okay. I go to the 3rd floor. He goes to the 3rd floor. It's women's. So I'm thinking, oh, he's already on the floor to see maybe what store we going to. I get to the 3rd floor. I don't see no one. So I'm like, okay. I call him. He don't answer the phone. So I'm like, okay. Mind you, I had to pee. So I went back downstairs. I was like, you know what? Let me go use the bathroom. I'm going to finish using the bathroom, and I'll figure out where he's at. If anything, he'll come get me at the door. Because, bitch, I'm not about to be waiting on no floor. And you know how these stores are already. Like, when you there as a brown sister, they don't matter how much money you got or what you look like, they always think you're sketchy. They probably think you up to no good. That's how these people are. Like, they profile you. I'm a sales associate myself. I've seen my colleagues do it to other people that look like me. That's what they do in the designer stores. They don't care. So I'm like, okay, let me move from here. Let me go pee. I go downstairs and pee. He texts me. He's like, I'm by men's coat. I was like, it's impossible that you're by men's coat because the floor I was on was strictly women. I was like, you're on this floor. He goes, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I get out the elevator. I'm on the men's floor now. I'm looking. I still don't see nobody. I'm figuring, like, if you want to meet me, you're going to be at least by the elevator or something, right? No. So I call him. He's like, where you at? He's like, I'm in the back by men's coat. So I'm walking. I'm seeing Laura Piana. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing Tom Ford. I still don't see nobody. He's like, where exactly are you? I was like, I'm in front of Tom Ford. He's like, I'm going to come get you. I'm like, okay. So I don't know where I left off, but he was like, oh, I'm coming to get you. So I'm feeling a little crazy now because I've been standing in front of Tom Ford for just a bit too long. And the sales associate, they coming up to me like, hey, you need help, da-da-da-da. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just waiting for someone or whatever. So, y'all, I was like, you know what, Mona, go downstairs. This man will come get you. stop standing in front of these people's stuff, because you look crazy. You look sketchy as fuck. I was like, I'm a little ashy. I was like, all right, cool. As I'm heading, y'all, to the elevator, I pull out my phone to text him, like, yo, I don't know where you at. I don't see you. I'm going to wait for you outside or downstairs. Before I pull out my phone to my messages, he texts me. He goes, yo, you really an asshole. Huh? So I'm like, what? I'm like, who are you talking to? Like, I'm so confused. He was like, yeah, fuck you, thought. He goes, I hate bitches like you. Always want something for nothing. Like, he goes, no, always wanting something for nothing ass bitches. Like, I don't like bitches like you. Going off. I'm like, have a good day, sir. Have a good day. Like, you're fucking insane. You thought you ate. You thought you lowered me into a store, a department store, and you thought you made me look crazy? I don't look crazy. I don't. I'm sorry. You look crazy, because it just taught me one thing. You have nothing really going for yourself. You're bored as hell, and you know how to approach women is with money, because you have nothing else to really show for it, or like, you're literally, like, you thought you ate. And then the whole day, y'all, as I'm leaving, he kept chastising me, like writing me crying emojis, like wham 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 wham. I'm like, bitch, I got bread in my pocket. I'm actually about to go meet with my homegirls, and we're going to have a few drinks, and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to just realize how much of a fucking weirdo you are. Oh my God, I'm mad, actually. Don't mind this. How much of a,
I think he ate. I mean, he wasted your time. Definitely wasted your time. Maybe he was probably comfortable sitting in his house, drinking even something, and he wasted your time. He ate. So he just exposed a good-digging woman. Fellas, what do you think? Let me see in the comment section. Let's continue, guys.
loser you really are. Like, men will really try to humble you. I feel like he tried to use this because, like, I never paid attention to him in the first place, and now it's like, oh, let me get back at her, because that's really what it was. Let me get back at her. And it's like, nothing happened. I went by my day. I had a few drinks with my girls. I had a ball. You didn't humble me. He didn't. And, like, I feel like any girl would have went on this free trip. Like, who? A free shopping? Like, what the fuck? Why not? You want to take me shopping? Bitch, I'm there. I'm going to go grab my stuff. Like, what a corny ass you are. Like, you're corny. Boo, 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 boo. Tomatoes. You didn't humble me. Like, nothing came out of this. Like, I just realized that you are a loser. And you probably did this to other women before, because, y'all, if I show you what this man looks like, he looks like a thumb. A thumb. Like a Shrek. You look like a thumb. You thought you ate, but you didn't. And nothing you ever say would ever embarrass somebody like me. Because, bitch, what? I work in a whole department store. I get these stuff on the regular. So, you didn't humble me, babe. You didn't. At all.